Good morning. Happy New Year. How was everybody doing? Hope your holiday was awesome. Here's our first day. And the market opens down. Can you believe this? Where's the party? Anyway, so kind of what do we do with this here? Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little conflicted myself. I mean, it's obviously clear as day that it's negative here at the moment. And I've seen this pattern go down and test the lows like this, but it's a tricky one. I explained maybe it was this week, and I forget, about the fact that these sell setups, these relatively shallow sell setups that don't get closer to this minor resistance area, and it doesn't have to get right up there, but it's relatively shallow. And it started with this huge wide range bullish bar. And I did mention at the time, where's the volume, right? There was no significant volume there. And if there was, that would be much more respected, let's say. In any event, I've seen these things work without the big volume too. Point being, these sell setups that are relatively shallow that begin from a wide range bar, they tend not to be the greatest odd setups for a short because you have to respect the power of the size of that bar. Now, there's no respect in the moment here, and go to the hourly charts, but overall, all right, it's not the greatest. It's going down here. It hit the resistance, obvious sell point. It tried to go through, little mini breakout failure, upside shakeout, call it what you want. There's a shock pattern there, and now it's broken. And so now the question becomes, well, is it going down to the lows? Is it going to stop here? Does this little pivot right there enough to retest and start it to move back up again? I don't know. It's kind of tricky. What I would think, right? Just looking at this and thinking, I would think it's coming down here to test some lower part there where it could make a higher low. And so just thinking a little bit ahead, where's my drawing tool here? Let's just discuss a couple of patterns here as to what to look for in the coming week or so. Look, if it comes down here and we get a reversal, we're buying it, okay? And we're looking for it to move up. If by some, pattern here, which would be odd for this thing to just keep going like that, so be it. I don't know how I'll deal with that in the time unless it stalls here and then we get a measured move lower. I don't know. The other pattern would be that, okay, it comes down here, and this is a pattern that actually sets up as a good short where it moves up and it makes a lower high, a higher low and a higher high up into the area where you would want to short it. And then at that point, I know I'm talking a lot to develop here, but this is the setup that is the highest odds short in a situation like that. It's a higher low, a higher high, and then there's this shallow little pullback and retest. And if we see that, sell it short, whatever you see the pattern in. We're just looking at the markets here, but it's applicable to anything. So that's the setup. And whether, this is a daily chart, but I see this kind of a picture. And when I talk about pictures, I'm talking about patterns. It's applicable to any time frame. So you have to put together in your trading plan. Are you looking for a swing trade, which is what this would be? Are you day trading where you could use this could be an hourly big nasty drop, and on a 5-minute, you could get that. So the different combinations of multiple time frames that you could utilize based on how you want to trade it. But what I'm showing you here is just a very high probability pattern. It does happen in big sharp downtrends a lot. So look for that. And we'll see how far this goes. It sounds like, you're down three, almost 400 points. It sounds like a big deal, but the range is expanding as they have really doesn't look like a big deal at all. It's just a big red bar. And at this point in the day, we don't even know how this is going to end. It could be a topping tail bar. Who knows? Or just going down. Right now, if you're trading intraday, I assume you are since you're here, is that it's created this swing low. And you can see it's already beginning to stabilize here. We've got a topping tail. So it's unclear, but since this is rolled over, as an intraday trader, I would look for shorts in the short term, and you might have to be quick. Or just manage it accordingly to see as you trail it out what it's going to do here. But odds are there's going to be a reaction if it comes down here. And we never know the reaction, how severe it's going to be or muted. That's part of what we do as pattern traders is look at the reaction. So sometimes you say, well, I'm interested in the reaction to the news, not the news. Okay, that's fine. I'm interested in the reaction to the support. Right, so when it gets there, does it rip higher? Do I see a big wide range bar like that? Or does it just kind of grind sideways in an attempt to move up that forms topping tails or upside shakeouts? Now, if I see that, that suggests to me it's going to keep going down. So we can formulate biases and plans as to what may happen. And then we actually have to see what is happening. And when we see what is happening, we go to our, let me just say, master trader toolbox of pictures and say, that's the picture that says it's going to do this. Or this one says it's going to do that. And we do that without all the squiggly lines called oscillators and fib lines and all of that hocus pocus stuff, because all we have to do is look at the chart. And right now we can see it tried to go up. It failed. It broke support. It's going down. Next support's here. I have this low to deal with. This pattern suggests it can go lower. And now let's see what it actually does. All right. So there is an overview of that, and you can apply it now to anything. And we'll look at the other markets and see, do they look the same? Do they look any different? NASDAQ is even weaker. It's almost at this point. So now what do I have to do? I have to, if I'm not trading this, if I was going to trade the Dow futures, I better be aware of when these Qs get down to this low here, because there's probably going to react from that. And that reaction could foil my bias that this could go down here. Because once another market, which tends to move in likely the same direction as the one I'm going to trade, can have an effect on that. So you better be aware of that. And here we can look at the same thing. What's going to happen, as I explained, I won't go over it again. ES, almost exactly the same as the Dow. So we go same analysis. Bonds are up again, breaking out, which means yields are going down, which means the yield curve is narrowing even more. And I will have to bring that up maybe tomorrow. We'll take a look at that. We'll see where this ends. I covered this in that extensive video in the newsletter. But, I mean, you hear people talk. They've been talking about this for several months now before it even got close to inversion. And this move here, and assuming the Fed is going to raise interest rates, you can count on the yield curve inverting, which has always led to a recession. But hey, there was no Christmas rally at Christmas. Maybe a yield inversion coincides with a market low. Crazy things do happen. We'll see what happens and what the patterns look like. The monthly chart suggests this year is going to see more downside. So we're looking for the markets to move lower, and we'll see at what the timing is of that. Oil's still weak, and it's the kind of price action that when I said, what does prices do when they get to a reference point? And here's a wide range bar. So far, prices are chopping around up here in the upper end, but I mean, this is down a whole lot in a short time, and this cannot bounce. That's bearish. Gold continues to move up at the next reference point of resistance. That might be the extent of the move. Sometimes it'll get to the top, but money obviously has been flowing into gold futures and the GLD. But honestly, the last I looked at it, the GDX didn't look like anything special. You know, it's kind of like a grinder with nasty bars. And so these are the gold miner stocks that are in there. And it's probably, you can find what is the better stock by going through it. But overall, this is not matching what gold shares are doing. And one of the reasons I just wasn't interested in going to look there. And transports, right? Another reason to be bearish. And we looked at this last week. I mean, that is a nasty monthly bar. Right? Nasty. And while it's resting on some support here, it's suggested that it's going to go lower because it's breaking down from a little consolidation. So 219, it'll be a bit of a market timer and know your patterns and know what you're doing. If you don't, it could be a very uncomfortable, costly year. Ever seen a more ugly gap than gold? The gold futures, Alex? Oh, stock. Ooh, wow. That is nasty. Well, there's some trading going on down there. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so you can see there's a lot of red here this morning as to what's going down. Tesla down 20 points. Nasty. Amazon. And so on. So we'll see where this all ends up at the end of the day. And I will let Dan take it over.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, Alex, I'm on that gold thing. I'm just saying that does look so unusual that I would Google it, see if there's any like corporate actions of spin-offs, you know, something like that. All right, well, I mean, I'm saying I don't know the answer, but that is a very strange gap, and that would be my first guess is that it's a corporate action, but I put it on a thumbnail. If someone wants to research it, we will keep an eye on it. All right, open positions. We got out of our VXX last week, and I'm actually looking to, you know, similar to if we get a double bottom in the spiders and a double top in this, we're going to be all over shorting VXX again. ETFs and options. We get out of our spiders. What's today? Wednesday. These holidays mess me up. So on Monday, we got out of our put spread at a nice profit. And I killed Apple. Now I'm glad we did. So yeah, I have a bearish, you know, day trade bias here, gapping under this 2-day resistance here on the hourly. And that's why I moved this to an hourly chart, because my 15 is, well, yeah, you see the gap down there, that's fine. Let's see, PayPal. We have an iron condor, gapping down to 82. That's fine. Does that hurt us at all? Nope. Look, 82. We're short the 90s and we're short the 75s. So it's a range bound trade. That's doing fine. Like J&J, we have a put spread that looks fine. Lulu did not trigger. It has to be over Friday's high, because then it's a red bar ignored. Western Bravo. Whiskey Bravo did trigger as a put spread. And we didn't get filled until it pulled in because it gapped over the entry. Ross triggered. It took out the red bar, but we didn't get our limit. So I'm going to keep an eye on that today. And as long as it holds up, you know, if it holds up okay, then it's a go. IBKR, we did not get filled. Well, it didn't, I don't think it triggered either, but we had a condor on this also that didn't trigger. And it looks like it's gapping up here. Anything gapping up in a weak market, you know, maybe the condor part was 60, 65, but it's actually building some nice support here. I'm going to put that in a window. But we're not in it yet. So gold buyout. Okay, that's still weird that it's gapping down. I don't have an explanation. That's what I made clear. CLAC I have as a bear call spread candidate with you know, SMH semis coming up to resistance. Oh, GoDaddy did not get filled. I have a put spread on that, and it just got real spready. And it looks like it's gapping up in a weak market, but I love the weekly retest. And that's about it on those. Some others I've been watching. CAG is not ready. Remember our MT Live about buying bottoming patterns? And today's show, by the way, is going to be another great one. It's going to be our beginning of the year market review and dumpster diving. We're going to be looking for beat up stocks. Goldman Sachs gapping down, but we have that as a possible. Well, I don't know if he's a dumpster diving candidate. We're talking about the real dogs, but it's more of a bottoming pattern. If we can get a W bottom retest, that would be good. FedEx, same thing. It's not ready, but it will be ready someday. And I don't care if I have to watch it for 1, 2, 3 weeks. I had this as a long watch, but it has to stabilize. FIBN. I said when we were scanning the other day, if it could trade over this red bar, then it's a breakout. Daily, weekly, look at this monthly. Can anybody, I challenge you, show me a more bullish monthly chart in this environment? That is a beautiful buy setup in an uptrend, 2 bottoming tails into a wide range bar, rising 10 moving average. If this just chops around for a little bit more and holds relative strength and doesn't go, you know, if it holds above Fridays, see these days are messing us up. If it holds under Friday's low, this tail, and just chops around, I like this. Let's look at some other stocks in the news and so forth. EFX was in the journal, said the Democrats are going to come after them for that data breach. AGM, there was an article that said a lot of drug companies are going to raise prices 10% this year. I don't know what your reaction to that is, but mine is, wow. I mean, you go to, you know, I've never spent the night at the hospital, but I've heard all the stories about, you know, you